beautiful Alumni Field in Windsor, Ontario for today's exhibition matchup between the OFC's Windsor AKO FRATMEN and the visiting member of the NCAA Division III Conference, the President's Athletic Conference, Geneva College's Golden Tornadoes. Good evening, I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is the Director of Athletic Operations for the program and the school, Andrew Fee. It's going to be a heck of a matchup tonight. The second time in this past decade that we're seeing these two teams meet. First time since 2016 as well. This is going to be a very unique matchup for both of these teams to prepare for their upcoming seasons.
Hey Justin, we're excited to be back for another game here in Windsor. As always, we'd like to start by thanking Mike for his hospitality and welcoming us back to Alumni Field. A lot different than Windsor Stadium where we played 3 years ago.
Yes, indeed. Today's kickoff, coin toss rather. The FRATMEN have won the coin toss. They deferred to kick for the first half, return for the second half. They'll be wearing the white and black jerseys today, while Geneva will be wearing their gold and black jerseys with the numbers on top of their helmets. But for today, it's a matchup that will be the chance for these teams to prepare, but also has unique twists, including with the rules being played for today.
Yeah, so as similar to last time we played, when we're on offense, we'll play under U.S. rules with 11 players, and when you're on defense, we'll play with 12. You guys are allowed to run up to the line. We're not allowed to do things such like that. So
we'll have to see how it all works out, especially with some of the kinks. On top of the fact that there's two different systems today. You have the triple option attack that you'll see from Geneva, while the AKL FRATMEN, known for their spread attack and more for up the passing game. Before we start off today's game, both teams clarifying and finally bringing up the last of the few players onto the field for today. What sort of type of challenges do you expect to see with this kind of uniqueness here, especially with a program such as yours that has such a lot of success, including 6 bowl wins with the last in 2009?
Well, Coach DeMarco has been our coach for the past 26 seasons, going into his 27th season. So, yeah, historically we've been playing well. As Dom mentioned in the pregame, we're coming off a rough season, 2-8. But as you were talking about the systems, we play a lot of teams that like to run the spread. So I don't foresee that being a challenge.
On top of course, being a part of NCAA's Division III standings, as seen on the graphic a moment ago, member of the National Christian College Athletic Association, as Geneva College gets set to go, making the way all the way from Pennsylvania. They'll return it right towards the FRATMEN to start things off here today. And quickly whistled off as they'll bring it around the 25-yard line to start things off here today, as it'll be the Golden Tornadoes that'll hit the field for offense first.
Yeah, Justin, to highlight some more of the rules, all punts and kicks are going to be dead. Punts will go to the 35, and kicks will go to the 25-yard line. So.
And as you can see, the FRATMEN, of course, a member of the Canadian Junior Football League, and of course, play in the OFC for those that follow here. 3-time Canadian Bowl champions, and finished second last season, of course, dropping the OFC final matchup against the Hamilton Hurricanes. They'll get set to go here on defense under the American rule set. 1st and 10, and already falling over at the line of scrimmage, as he'll be blown dead with maybe a gain of half a yard, if not the same line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Justin, fumbles have been the problem in recent years, so that's something we're definitely trying to figure out here, and this is a good exposition game to try to figure that out.
And of course, this is a team that brought approximately 75 people up, including 65-ish players, all either freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, with the seniors already graduating from the program. 2nd down and 11 is the mark. Off and away they go up the middle as they'll be brought down at about the 35, just around the first down chains. And that time, a good rush up the middle, appeared that time by Ethan Bear, that time going up the gut.
Yeah, junior for us, running right up the gut there. He's a big boy, looks more like a fullback to me.
Yes, Ethan Bear last season in 6 games had 8 total attempts, 24 yards gained on the season, 3 yards to carry. His longest 9. That just topped that to make it 1st and 10 on the 11-yard rush. Ball set up at the 36. Off the way they go into the crowd again, as there'll be a gain of maybe 4. Brought down at the 39-ish.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Justin, we tend to run the ball a lot. We're looking at some quarterback options to maybe work some passing into this triple option. We like to control the ball, limit the possessions for Windsor.
And, of course, you talk about how much you like to run. Last season, 23 rushing touchdowns, 2,544 total yards. That's 254 a game. And more, just under 5 yards a carry in 2018. Second down and 6. Rush to the right side this time. The quarterback keeps it. Shuffle back to the outside on the option as it's brought down around center field. Make it the 54. And a good rush that time on the option, sent up by Frank Centofanti that time. To Centofanti, I should say.
Yeah, he gets out to the C yard line, which we're not used to. We only have 50 yards on our field, so the center yard line.
Of course, the center yard line, about 55 yards on each side, of course. Different in terms of where the uprights will be for today for the field goals, just at the goal line rather than at the back of the end zone. First and 10, now at the 52-yard line, they mark it. And another fumble, a second one of this drive, and that loses yards for the first time today. A big defensive rush that time brought after the fumble, led by Matt O'Neill.
Yeah, you can see Coach DeMarco is not happy after the second fumble of the game, just in this first series. As I mentioned before, frustrating.
And they'll have to set up for 2nd and 13 because of that. Last season, Geneva College as a program, 3 forced fumbles. The AKO FRATMEN, 6 in 2018. Stacking the box are the FRATMEN. Another quarterback keeper this time, looking to pass. Thrown incomplete that time, intent on the pass for Justin Laffrey. The pass coming from Anthony Cervone, the freshman quarterback. And 3rd and 13 coming up on this one. And one of the main things brought up by the head coach of the AKO FRATMEN, Michael DeJohns, was 4 downs going to be one of the main things that will be a little bit different for both sides of the ball today.
Yeah, these are the tough plays when you run the option, 3rd and 13, where it's passing down, but not passing the ball very much. So we'll see what Coach DeMarco calls up here.
3rd and 13, shuffling back to pass. Hit as he threw, incomplete. Broken up by Jalen Butcher, a near interception in open space. And let's take a look at the replay. As you can see, pressure was coming on the attack. Alex Hora, coming on the rush. Last season, the FRATMEN and the Golden Tornadoes had 12 interceptions apiece. And for the first time today, they'll set up for the punt return. Two returning, setting up for the FRATMEN this time. Braden McCraney, setting up on the right side. On the left side of the field, Dante Lewis. And it will fall and bounce at the 39 and be blown dead. Of course, as talked about, no returns from the kicks and the punts. But for the first time today, we'll see the Canadian football-style offense of the AKO FRATMEN. Coming off a 6-2 season last year, 3-1 at home, and an offense that put up an electrifying 34 points per game. On top of that, we'd like to remind you of one of our partners, for tonight's action is Harold Remark from Royal Page Binder Real Estate. Helping you is what we do.
As Coach Morenzi was telling us, you guys have a lot of returners that are starters, 39 returners, and I believe 19 returning starters.
Yes, a lot of the big impact players like McCraney, both quarterbacks as well. Colton Allen starts off the first drive, hit hard, as they'll be incomplete. Of course, with the FRATMEN, they're known for switching up their quarterbacks, both of them in their second years. Colton Allen and Daniel Mayu will be playing quarterback at some points tonight. For the first drive, as mentioned, Allen. Of course, both of them have 2 different play styles. Mayu known for his stronger arm, Allen known more for his way to lead on the offense when on the field. 2nd and 10, approaching 5 minutes into the first quarter. Backing up is Allen, throwing up the middle into traffic, incomplete. Flag thrown on the play, though this might be pass interference as McCraney holds onto his side and gets up. And this might be our first penalty of the day on this one. Take a look. And a lot of traffic there that time here, Andrew. Two different defenders.
Yeah, it looked like he got on his back early. We got an orange flag down, and in the United States, that would be a yellow flag, so that's something interesting to see as well.
Either way, it's pass interference, the first penalty of the day, and something last season for as a program, 48 flags. Penalties, I should say, 4 or 6 yards against Geneva College. For the Fratmen, though, is a major problem. 2 games, they had penalties nearly 40 yards plus, once each time, and 85 total on the season. That is more than 100 penalty yards they got on 835 total. And they'll set up for 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line and try and move this offense. But of course, with Geneva College, this is a program with the head coach, Gino Marco, that is the all-time wins leader in school history, and has made the postseason 14 of the past 20 years. Fratmen set up with 3 players on the right, make it 4. Allen throws again, finding Lewis. And on the bubble screen, not able to get much, brought down to the 49. That'll set up 2nd and long here, 2nd and 9. Let's take a look at this replay once more in the bubble.
Washington comes up there and makes a nice tackle as he had some blockers leading him out there, so saved us a few yards here.
2nd and 9 coming up, 9:26 to go in the first quarter. Again, 3 receivers on the right side, 2 in the left. 3 in the motion. Allen backs up again, finds Lewis again. This time brought down for a little bit more yardage. Doesn't get to the sticks though. Brought down about the 42, maybe the 43.
As you mentioned before, Coach DeMarco has a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive coordinator just took a new job, so we're working on some coaching adjustments. He has his youngest staff he's working with this year. So.
How does that affect a program such as yours to have a very young coaching staff for this season?
I think it's good. They relate to the players well, but it's just kind of adjusting to Coach DeMarco's style and the system he's put in place for the past 26 years.
3rd and 4. Allen throwing down the sideline. It's complete. Wide open, Braden McCraney. It's into the end zone. Touchdown, Fratmen. And he was wide open down the right side of the field to have our first point on the board.
Yeah, Coach Morenzi talked yesterday when we were doing a walkthrough here. He can really throw the ball well. We're seeing that early on here.
And you can see he was open on top of that by 10 yards, give or take. And the big wide receiver, Fred McCraney, last season putting up tons of yards, puts up tons of yards on that play. More than 50-plus yards, more than 40, I should say, on the first points of the day.
Looked like Donnelly had a miscue with his coverage there. He came towards the line, and he just ran right past him.
And they'll set up for the extra point again. The special teams unit coming on. Nash Pryor, snap in the backfield. Looks like Colton Allen might be saying maybe go for 2 here. We'll have to see. And they're going to take some time here. Of course, both teams having to get used to different rule sets. A little bit of discussion with some of the officials for Coach LaChance was he would have his substitutions in bunches to make sure the officials knew what to expect for this matchup here tonight, especially with the different rule set. Tonight's referees and officials, I should say, for the first half and second half are going to be different. Chris Patton will be the referee for the first half. Bruce Cartner, the umpire. John Dotson, the back judge, with Brent Webster as well. Don Hollerhead, the head linesman. Bill Gadden, the line judge. Going for 2 of the Fratmen as they score. And make it 8-0. Jared Hayes Williams on the completion.
Good start to the good opening drive for the Fratmen. Marched down the field pretty easily, throwing the ball well here. It seems like they're attacking the right side of the field. The Canadian field is also a little wider, so it's something we have to adjust to for sure.
Yeah, when you look at a lot of stadiums, the size of a soccer field is nearly just about comparable, at least from what I'm seeing, to an American football field. Much more wider here where you see some of the goalposts, some of the soccer markers on the field, the yellow lines that you might see here at Alumni Field. And it leaves a lot more space to play the game or try and make some catches, or in the case of the end zone, an extra maybe 5-10 yards to the back.
Yeah, definitely, and use the field goal post there as a extra defender to curl off of him. So pretty interesting setup. But our field goal kicker was warming up before the game, and he sure liked the field goal post at the front of the end zone instead of the back.
Yeah, that's been a long time since the uprights were towards the same position as Canadian football. Back to get the ball and picked up at the 4. Going to be returned this time at the bounce and blown dead as he walks up to about the 20, maybe 25, as they'll get set for the second drive of the game on offense for Geneva College. The Golden Tornadoes on offense last season had 214 total, 21.4 a game. However, in the struggle of a season, as talked about a little bit, the 2-8 record, they allowed 28 points on defense. One of our presenting sponsors for tonight is Natus Athletic Incorporated, established in 1946. One of the top suppliers of football equipment in all of Windsor-Essex County. Be sure to go. And looking to go on offense is now the Golden Tornadoes. They started well on offense in terms of the rushing game. We'll see if they keep up the attack here. 1st and 10, going through different defenders on the rush. Justin Loffrey this time, able to get a gain of maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah, you mentioned our running attack last year. Trey Marshall, number 6 for us, is our all-time leading rusher in Geneva history, beating some really special players out last year for that record. And obviously he graduated and moved on, so trying to find that guy to replace him.
Yeah, Justin Loffrey last season was the second leading rusher on the team when you look at it. 217 net yards. And is already looking well here. He's off to the races this time. Gets around 2 defenders. Can he get around 1 more? No, he can't. Knocked out at about the 39-yard line. And Loffrey passes by what would have been his season high last year, again on the ground. A second one past this game.
A gaping hole there at the line. Good movement by the offensive line to get that hole opened up, and he just took off out of there.
And it will be 1st and 10 at the 39 after the strong rushing from Justin Loffrey so far tonight. Once again, the FRATMEN stacking up the box. Just 2 corners outside of the box. Inside again, Loffrey for a 3rd straight rush, knocked down at about the 36.
Justin, to give you a little more insight, the NCAA allows us to come up here and play in Canada every 3 years. And what that does is allows us to practice in the spring in pads where we're usually only allowed to practice in shells. So having those 15 spring practices really help us get prepared for this game, prepared for next fall as the real season kicks off.
Why did you select the AKO FRATMEN the past couple of years for that once every 3 years opportunity?
We reached out, just threw some fillers out there, and actually the University of Windsor head coach at the time, just didn't complete that. The University Windsor head coach connected us with Mike Morenzi, the owner of the FRATMEN, former coach here, and connected us with him, and he set it up, and we enjoyed our experience the last time we were here. So we're back.
And your team's going to go back to 3rd and 6 after that incomplete pass you see on your screen. But so far, it's been a good offensive rushing attack with the triple option. That was something that was a little up and down in terms of the defense for the AKO FRATMEN last season. What was a passing attack league. 3rd and 6 at the 35. 6 minutes to go in the first. Up the middle. Make it a fake to the right side. Out of bounds. That time, Serfone tried to shuffle it out to Santofanti, but went out of bounds instead.
Looks like it's marked out at the 30, which is going to be real close to a first down there, maybe.
4th and 1.
4th and 1.
Yeah, just down at the 30 to be precise. And it looks like they're going to go for it. 5:52 to go on the clock. And no defensive substitutions coming from the FRATMEN here on this set. The FRATMEN faithful getting loud at the Alumni Field. First 4th down conversion of the day. Shuffle it out to the left side. Serfone can't option it. He might get the chains though.
Yeah,
and yes, indeed.
Here's
able to just spin
forward.
around off the tackle. Look at this. And that tackle actually brought him a half yard across for the first down.
Yeah, the crowd got loud there. A nice crowd out here for a May football game, which I know is pretty unique. Usually you guys are calling some baseball at this time.
Of course, baseball not starting off until around June for the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. Either way, 5 minutes to go in the first. 1st and 10. Outside, Serfone into traffic, brought down about the 25. A gain of about 3 to set up second down. And it continues to be kind of a strong offensive start with this triple option. This is, of course, not something you see much in Canadian football, is a triple option like this.
Most of the teams run the spread?
Yes.
Yeah. And Coach Morenzi was saying you and the other team that you guys lost to in the finals last year, what team was that?
That was the Hamilton Hurricanes.
Yeah, you guys are historically the top 2 teams in the league?
Yes. However, Coach LeJeans did compare the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes to Saskatoon. To the end zone goes the Golden Hurricanes for the touchdown meanwhile. Justin Lawfrey up the middle and again burns the ACO Fratman defense on the ground.
Yeah, he's running the ball well to start off the game here. We'll see if he can keep it up. Fratman may make some adjustments up front here, I imagine, in the next possession.
Curious to see what the adjustments, how they handle the adjustments, but you can see how Lawfrey has kind of been strong. He had only 31 carries last season, no touchdowns, and now finds the end zone for the first time in 2019 during today's spring exhibition matchup. Extra point is muffed, and that's going to be blown dead. 8-6 is your score.
Yeah, Lawfrey comes out of West Virginia, state located right under Pennsylvania. As you know, we're from Beaver Falls, PA, which I shared earlier, a famous football player from Beaver Falls. Do you remember, Justin?
I believe it was Joe Namath you were referring to on that one.
Joe Namath, correct. We're about 25 miles north of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, of course, the school, I should say, started originally in Northwood, Ohio, and moved to Beaver Falls actually in 1880. That's 35 miles, of course, of northwest, I should say, of Pittsburgh before coming along. As talking about baseball, baseball is coming back here on We Digital starting on Tuesday, June the 4th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the Galleon Graders coming in town for the home opener for the Green Giants. Be sure to tune in on We Digital. Back to football action with 4:10 to go in the first quarter. 8-6 is your score for the Fratmen, and what has been a strong offensive matchup. The Fratmen will get set to return their second kickoff of the day, and this time go back to about the 2. Brought up slowly. Of course, kickoffs blown dead, as talked about at the top of the broadcast. Once again, blown dead for McCraney.
Be interesting to see how the players hold up as the sun is heating up. You know, it's probably about 65 degrees out there. We saw a few guys taking a knee on the sideline already, as teams aren't in mid-season form by any way.
Yeah, this is one of the hottest days so far this year, actually, in 2019. A lot of the past couple weeks, it's been cloudy and or rainy in some cases, or fairly cool for much of the month of May. Back to the sunniness we've seen here in Windsor, Essex for much of April, actually. 1st and 10 is going to be marked at the 20-yard line for the Fratmen. Make the 15, pardon me, as they'll set up for their second offensive drive. As talked about, a quarterback rotation. It's going to be Daniel Mayu behind center this time for the second drive of the game. 1st and 10. Rolling to the left, over top the traffic. It's complete. Fumbled on the completion, picked up. And that's going to be a turnover picked up that time by Brady Corcoran, the freshman defensive back. And take a look at this. Good catch, better hitting.
Yeah, good hit there. Definitely took a couple steps. I was initially thought it was incomplete, but definitely took a couple steps and went to head upfield and got a big hit there. Geneva's going to take over at the 46-yard line.
Dylan Samuels was the one with the completion, and it was Luke Lloyd who had the hit from the far side of the shot that helped knock the ball loose. And now, Geneva College will set up at the 45-yard line with 3:30 to go. Headed back up the middle this time to the fullback. Bear able to get a gain of 5.5 yards this time. He'll be 2nd and 5.
As you can see, the first quarter winding down pretty quickly. Most of our games are a little over 2 hours running the triple. Time just melts away.
It absolutely. Of course, with that as well, your program at one point was up towards the top 10 just a couple years ago in rushing yards. Off to the right side goes Lloyd this time, getting space and brought down inside the 10.
Yeah, Trey Marshall at one point was leading all NCAA divisions, 1, 2, and 3 with rushing yards.
That time is Lloyd. Should correct on the last hit. It was Ryan Signorella, as multiple players will be wearing the same jersey numbers this evening. And it looks like with the first down marked at the 10 for 1st and goal, looks like Geneva College.
Over there.
Yes, unfortunately we do. Medical staff coming on as what was a substitution.
Number 17 for the FRATMEN, though.
That would be Elijah Blythe, one of the big members of this FRATMEN squad defensively last season. And it's caused a stoppage in play here with 2:46 to go in this first quarter for 1st and goal coming up now for the Golden Tornadoes. Again, with the Golden Tornadoes, it kind of has a unique history when you look at it. Governed right now by the Reformed Presbyterian Church of North America and named in honor of Geneva, Switzerland, which was at one point the center of the 16th century Reformed Christian faith movement, I should say.
Yeah, correct. You did quite the research on us before he came up here, but yeah, we are governed by the Reformed Presbyterian Church. Definitely hold our Christian faith in the forefront of everything we do in athletics as well.
1st and goal, rush down to about the 3-yard line that time. This time, again, Bear. And that'll make it give it 3 yards to try and get into the end zone for the 2nd time on the ground tonight. 2nd and goal with 2:24 to go. And this offense continues to chug along so far. They'll set up once again with the option. This time bunched up, full back, close up. Handed off this time to Bear. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Golden Tornadoes. And for the 2nd time, it's a rushing touchdown now for Geneva College.
Good turn of events there for all the fans back in Beaver Falls watching online. See if we can execute an extra point here.
This time setting up for the extra point. Special teams unit setting on up. The freshman kicker of Daniel Nordis with the one going for the extra point attempt. Chance to bring the lead to 5, and yes, indeed, he gets it. So Geneva College, their offense is chugging along already and burning a lot of time while doing so, as you talked about with the triple option. Only 2 minutes to go in this first quarter already with the rushing game on full force. Of course, FRATMEN football for the regular season starts on Saturday, August the 17th, 2019, when the GTA Grizzlies come to town here to Windsor, Ontario. Be sure to tune in here on We Digital starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at wedigital.ca.
Justin, is the FRATMEN playing all their home games at Alumni Field here, or do you...
To answer that question, yes, in terms of the full schedule just released in the past couple weeks or so, home's debut is at Alumni Field, currently scheduled at. Then after that, week off, then they play at home on August the 31st. Then they start again at home on September the 14th. The last of the home games on September the 28th. And of course, a balanced schedule. But right now, the FRATMEN looking to have a good start to the exhibition side of things at home. This time, return from the end zone. Blown dead again. They'll start off again at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, the Golden Tornadoes start their season September 7th. Mount St. Joseph's University in Cincinnati, Ohio, a team that we haven't played in the past few years, and then they jump into conference play right away.
I was going to ask about that, of course. The conference play, just looking at 3 straight home games, then a bit on the road for 2 weeks, then back home one more time before finishing off on the road. Now, how is that kind of play in the conference? Because, of course, in terms of things, as talked about, of course, part of the NCAA Division III, part of the National Christian College Athletic Association, as well as the conference of the President's Athletic Conference.
Yeah, the President's Athletic Conference is a really tough football conference. You have Washington and Jefferson College, Case Western Reserve University, two historically pretty highly ranked teams in the United States. And playing on the road is never a fun thing in conference, and we are doing that 6 times, or 5 times. Check that.
Rush that time to the left side by the FRATMEN. And a gain of about 2 or make it 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 after the rush to the left. This time the FRATMEN will set up just on top of that yellow soccer line here at the University of Windsor campus. 1:10 to go in this first quarter and closing. Mayu throwing to the right side, complete. Fighting for yards this time, Jared Hayes-Williams, but brought down. Maybe a gain of 1. And Jared Hayes-Williams expected to see an even bigger role this season for the FRATMEN, getting his first completion. Second, rather, including that extra point.
Yeah, Washington playing defensive back for us has a couple good open field tackles there, reading the ball well to start the game here.
It's 3rd and 5 with about 30 seconds in closing, make it 35 seconds to go here in this first quarter. And of course, mentioning the defensive back on the play, of course, some of the plays defensively for the squad last season, the leading tackler. When looking at things, 84 total tacklers by Tyler Can as part of last season's campaign. This time, Mayu up the seam, yes! Getting it across the 41-yard line to Braden McCraney. It's 1st and 10.
That's going to bring us to the end of the first half.
First quarter,
sorry. On the scoreboard here.
And after 15 minutes of play, the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes will watch as the first quarter is blown dead. We'll be back after this. You're watching AKO FRATMEN football and exhibition action between the PAC and the OFC here from Windsor, Ontario.
Thanks a lot, guys. Down here in the stands, a lot of visitors here to the Windsor area, thanks to the Geneva College squad. One of the parents that made the trip, Kim Bowser, her son Zach is number 14 on the Golden Tornadoes, and welcome to our city, Kim. And first of all, tell us his thoughts, your son's thoughts about playing in a game like this.
He was very excited, a little concerned because the rules are a little bit different, but he was very excited to come up and play the game.
Okay, great. Yourself, you made the trip. You don't miss any of his games, do you?
I don't miss a game. I haven't missed a game since he was 7 years old. So.
And this is his senior year, so kind of a special game for him to be a part of.
Absolutely, absolutely. This coming season will be the last season for him to be able to play. So we definitely won't miss any this year.
Okay, so what are you going to do after the football career is gone?
Oh, I don't know. I'll probably still be sitting in the stands somewhere watching somebody else's kids.
I think that's a great idea. You can come to Windsor if you want anytime and watch some of our games.
It's kind of a drive for me to get here, so I think I'll go local.
I don't blame you on that one. Kim, great to have you here. Enjoy this game. Be safe going home, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Kim Bowser, a very special guest taking in today's game. Guys?
Thank you very much, Tom. Some great words, and great to see some parents making the trip down here to Windsor, Essex County, the road city for today's action. It's great to see a lot of players and players to be happy to be here and parents to be happy to see their children trying to see here today. 2nd and 10 for the FRATMEN, meanwhile, as a huge completion by Lewis. Overtopped the traffic that time, over 2 defenders, 1st and 10 inside Golden Tornadoes territory.
The big catch there, he went up and got that. He knew when he was coming down he was going to get hit pretty hard and still hung on to the ball.
And you can see Mayu rolling to the right, trying to give time for Lewis, and jumps over top the defenders, including that time Tyler Can, the junior starter. And Lewis has been active so far, already 3+ catches so far in this first half. If you're just tuning in, exhibition action today for spring action between the OFC and the PAC. Throwing down the sideline once again goes Mayu. It's complete. For the second time already, McCraney with a huge completion down the sideline.
Yeah, the ball came out there, and as you can see, the Geneva defender thinks it was loose on the way down, but they got him marked down at the 5-yard line for another big play.
And McCraney, of course, had a lot of big plays last season, receiving 326 yards on 17 completions and 5 TDs. That's just above 19 yards a catch. And we've already seen 2 huge ones for 30 yards or more already. 13 minutes to go in the first half. On the clock here in the second quarter. Justin Prince alongside Andrew Fee here on We Digital. Mayu is set up with the fullback to his left side. Blitz coming. Flag called though. And this might be a neutral zone infraction. There was 3 different blitzers coming from Geneva College.
Referees getting together to discuss it.
And they're going to say it is a false start actually caused by the blitz. And it looks like they tried to attack through that neutral zone that you have, of course. You have to have a neutral zone cushion of about a couple yards in Canadian football. And that's going to repeat first down to the 10-yard line for first and goal instead. Beautifully sunny evening here in Windsor, Ontario, as Mayu gets ready to get back under quarterback last season in the regular season. As part of that rotation, had the more attempts from the yards, 63 of 104 for just over 1,000 yards, 1,081. Sear will skip to his right. Mayu looking left. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. It's incomplete. Second and goal coming up.
Yeah, Justin, it's amazing. You look right across the river there. You can see Detroit, the Ambassador Bridge that we came over. A really easy trip from Pittsburgh, only about 4.5 hours. So all these parents got to come up and watch the game. The players have really enjoyed their time in Windsor. Everyone is really nice and hospitable to us while we're here.
Of course, the Geneva College student base just under 1,500 in total, about 1,129 undergrad students, and a lot of them part of the members of the town, rather, watching along potentially here tonight. Incomplete to Lewis. It'll be third and goal after the pass. But that leads to the question, when it comes to a small town program such as yours, and being one of the main key pieces of that, what kind of difficulties do you might have that people might not think about when thinking about small town programs and small town schools such as yours?
Well, the community definitely buys in, and they want to see you win. So that's always a challenge. If you're not winning, the community gets pretty upset, doesn't come out to the games. But historically, we've had a great fan base, ranking in the top 5 in Division III football attendance, averaging over 4,000 fans a game. So that's a good thing.
Mayu, meanwhile, gets a completion, but it's going to be called off. A flag is thrown in the end zone, as it looks like the intended target and the cornerback were both tied up. That time in coverage, it looked like it was D.D. Kalexti, as you'll see on the right side. Pardon me, that would be Austin Gockel. And trying to argue the case that time was Jared Hayes Williams with the flag thrown in the end zone. And it's defensive pass interference. That will move the chains to the 1-yard line and make it a bit more easier for the FRATMEN. First and goal now due to the defensive pass interference.
Back there in that deep corner, which is 3 or 4 more yards than we're used to back there, but the track kind of cuts that corner off. We're used to a rectangular end zone.
Of course, the Windsor Lancers track field program, one of the top in the country. Meanwhile, that is brought for a loss of yards on the rush. Greg Fortune couldn't get space. Yeah,
historically, Windsor athletics has been big-time thing around here. We've been talking to some of the coaches, some of the administrative staff in there throughout the day, and it seems like all the programs do pretty well. About 16,000 students at the University of Windsor is what they tell us, so pretty big school.
And, of course, some members of the Lancers end up, of course, playing for the FRATMEN, such as former recruits Mayu as well as Colton Allen, that actually started some games in the OUA a couple of years ago in 2017. Second in goal, setting up at the 5-yard line, Mayu. Looking towards the short play. It's intercepted in the end zone. Returned out to about the 8-yard line. It was picked off that time by the defensive corner of Tyler Can.
Yeah, Tyler Can's going to be a big part of the defense this year, kind of being the quarterback of the defense, if you will. But that was originally tipped by Washington, our defensive back.
And it went right into his hands, and nothing Lewis can do to even try and strip it back out.
Big defensive play after the pass interference, put the ball on the 1-yard line.
Yes, absolutely. And a good recovery, too, because in a lot of cases, you see that, a defensive pass interference, it might lead to at least 3 points. This time, the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes able to stand tall defensively and get their offensive possession back. They marked it down at the 6. 10-10 and closing to go in this first half. This time handed off the middle into traffic, a gain of a couple yards.
The sun is making it harder to see out there at the field. The sun's starting to creep down towards field level here.
And it's a gain of 1.5, so 2nd and 8 is what's marked down on the field from that rush. Of course, the beautiful sun currently facing towards the grandstands here at Alumni Field and towards the FRATMEN side of the field. They'll set up once again with just 2 corners on the outside. They stack the box once more for the triple option. Headed up the middle this time to Bear. Brought down for a gain of a few. And we'll see where they mark this down. Appears it will be 3rd down and maybe 3. Yeah, 3rd and 4, yes.
Yeah, 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4. And you can tell the way the FRATMEN are trying to adjust, where they're trying to prepare for an inside rush every time with this triple option.
Yeah, but that's what's dangerous about the option. You can go outside, pitch the ball, and you have open field. You can run forever.
Exactly. Right now, this time, they'll try and scramble as it goes to the left side of the field. And this time stays inside the range of the defensive linemen and the blitzers. Marked down about a yard short at about the 15-ish, it appears, as that will be 4th down coming up.
It looks like they pointed first down there. Looks like they got just enough.
That's a late reaction there. It looks like they originally signaled around the 15 on the close side of the field. They have now waved it towards the 16 as the ball placement for the first down. 8:16 to go in the first half. 20, yes. Shuffling around. This time, tossed outside. And brought down for a gain of a few. A flag thrown on the play on the near sideline, though. And the FRATMEN are wondering why.
Dangerous toss there to Setafani, but looks like a face mask will be the penalty late here on the play.
You can see the shuffling around that time by Luke Lloyd. Able to find Setafani. And the hard hit right now, that is Bladen, yeah. A good whistle there to call that face mask. That was Michael Worku on the defensive penalty. Now move it across the 30 to the 36 is where they'll move the chains for 1st and 10 because of the penalty with 8:03 to go in the second.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, the discipline, the penalties hurting the FRATMEN again, as you stated, that has been the case in past years.
Yes, indeed, as talked about the penalties again, 85 last season to be exact in the regular season. 1st and 10 at the 36. Stacking the box once more, go the FRATMEN. This time handed up the middle. Off to the races goes Laffrey, brought down at about center field. And another big gain of more than 10+ yards for the big man.
They're right up the gut here again, as we talked about.
Yeah,
the adjustment. You can't adjustment outside, inside continues to go back and forth for the Fratmen. And Geneva's taking advantage of that.
1st and 10 now with a 54. 2018 had started all 10 games again as a junior, the big man. Also caught 8 passes for 142 yards on the way to an honorable mention in the all-pack selections. Off to the right side this time. Go the Golden Tornadoes. Able to get another first down this time. It's for Luke Lloyd.
Yeah, he kept the ball there on a fake. Fratmen were fold, and he kept running upfield.
And you can see how much of a topsy-turvy play for some. Matt O'Neill ended up having his ankles broken just about on that one. And just able to get about to the 37-yard line this time. Make it 38. Still Geneva College, once again rushing their way for first down after first down. Of course, the last time they met in 2016, they had won 49-21. This time backing up for first down. Shuffled outside. And brought down Senofonte for a gain of about a couple.
Last time we met, the triple option was just first installed that year, so it was rather new. Definitely Coach DeMarco is starting to get more comfortable with the play calling, the adjustments with the triple option. And it's fun to see it when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's quite boring.
And you can see this time, just everyone was on that side of the field and not able to find space. But of course, again, Coach DeMarco, we've talked about a little bit, of course, was actually the school's first All-American. He'll watch and cheer as his big man in Luffrey finds his way to the end zone for a touchdown.
Another big run by Laffrey there. Gets Geneva in the end zone here. About 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And you can see right up the middle, offensive line prepared, and no one back and ready for the huge rumble and tumble from Laffrey once more.
Yeah, Coach DeMarco was a graduate of Geneva College. 4 daughters, one's coming in next year. They've all attended Geneva, but recently just had a new granddaughter, which he's mostly excited about. I know his wife Cheryl is home watching the game with the granddaughter.
And congratulations on having a granddaughter. Again, great to bring up. Again, of course, with the smaller school or in the smaller town, how important it is to be the family aspect of things. We talked about it a little bit in terms of the players, the family aspect of a coach that lives inside the town and community itself.
Yeah, Coach DeMarco definitely likes the family aspect. His motto that's been for many years is "Us is always us." The GTs, as they call them, the Golden Tornadoes, the alumni holds true to that.
Of course, one of our presenting partners as well, and a part of our sponsor family is Harold Remark and Roll Page Buying Real Estate. Helping you is what we do. Glad to have Harold Remark on board as presenting partner for tonight's action. It's been a great game, especially if you're a fan of the Golden Tornadoes. Up 20-8 with 5:32 to go in the second quarter. And a lot of adjustments potentially coming up with Colton Allen going over the game plan to come back onto the field. The Fratmen offense looking for a spark before the end of this first half. They'll set up for the return. As talked about, plays are blown dead about the 15-yard line for them so far. It'll be the same case here as they'll set up from the left side hash marks. So the Fratmen come back onto the field. And this time in the quarterback rotation, it's Colton Allen. One of the main impact receivers so far has been Dante Lewis, especially on the wide receivers bubbles. So far, we'll see how Allen can connect to him.
Yeah, big possession for the Fratmen going into the half here because the Fratmen do receive the ball in the second half, so they could definitely strike here and then come back early in the second half with a big possession as well.
And Colton Allen to refer to as well. We talked about this before. Has some experience with the Lancers last season with the Fratmen after being brought over by Joe Demore on the Lancers side to help with the development. 1,009 yards, 56 of 87, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He'll set up for 1st and 10. Looking for the quick screen, gets the completion to McCraney. McCraney can't get space as he's brought down by 3 tacklers for 2nd down. Able to get just a couple in total, maybe 3.
Justin, help me with the rules here. Is there a 2-minute warning in Canadian football?
Somewhat, yes. Somewhat. there is of sorts a 3-minute warning to be precise. Thank you very much to give the exact answer. So that will be a 3-minute warning coming up in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's the reason why I say somewhat compared to the 2-minute warning. Play clock also stops at time with the first downs as well. 2nd and 8. 4:23 to go in this first half. Allen, low snap. Looking up the middle, nearly intercepted. Lewis, the intended target.
Just threw it a little high over Lewis there. That's a dangerous pass across the middle, though, with the tip. Luckily, it hits the ground for the Fratmen.
And you'll see how dangerous it is up here. And as you can see,
may have been tipped at the line there, I believe.
Yeah, and that time, you might be correct. It might have been one of the defensive linemen. Then a second tip by Lewis hits the turf before having a chance to be intercepted. Coach LaChance and his team will try and go to the clipboards here for 3rd and 8. Ball at the 17-yard line. And they look to try and break through. Bit of a stalling offense in the past couple drives. Left side of the field as part of the wide receiver core, Michael Ryan. 3 receivers being shuffled around. Allen finds an open receiver, too low, incomplete.
Looks like he just dropped it there. They had 3 guys on the short side of the field here and only 2 defenders playing his own coverage, and looked like he had a chance to make that catch.
Daniel Squalls was the intended target, but you can see just off his hands. And that'll bring out the punt unit.
That would have been a first down for the Fratmen as well.
3:37 to go now in the second quarter as well. The special teams unit getting all set up for their punt. Last season in terms of the punt unit for the AKO Fratmen, 37 punts, a total of 1,069 yards. That's an average of 28.9 of return. Punt will be bouncing at the 50. Bounces all the way to the 32-yard line. So a lucky bounce leads to a deep field now somewhat for the Golden Tornadoes.
Leaves us about 16 seconds left until the 3-minute warning here. Only 2 timeouts in Canadian football instead of 3 in the United States. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach DeMarco utilizes the 2 timeouts.
One of our presenting partners for tonight's coverage, once again, is Not As Athletic Incorporated. Again, one of the top suppliers of football equipment in Windsor-Essex County, established since 1946. Just located actually around the corner from here, in fact, just on beautiful Tecumseh Road West, about 5 minutes away from Alumni Field. Setting it for 1st and 10 at the 35. Up the middle this time, Bear. Able to get a shuffle around as it goes forward. Able to get the first down goes Geneva College. And it looked like Bear just got it out at the last moment to get the last-minute option.
Yeah, I think it was a fake handoff.
Yeah.
Servone actually kept it and ran it up the middle there.
We've reached the 3-minute warning as the whistles are blown and the clock starts to roll. 2:54 to work with. It looks like Geneva College is asking for a couple clarifications with their quarterback for the play.
The clock does not stop at the 3-minute warning. It looks like Coach DeMarco thought the clock was going to stop and he had some time to meet with his quarterback, but that's not the case.
And Servone was getting his play brought in. 2:30 to go in the first half. This time a bit more spread out, the AKO Fratmen D. Bear again. This time keeps it. Able to get it to about the 50, maybe the 51. Stops the clock at 2:19. And it looks like we might have a timeout coming up on the field and pack the players down. It is Bear, unfortunately, for Ethan Bear. One of the starters coming into today's game, the junior. He having to be checked out now by the training staff. This is unfortunate to see, especially in a spring game like this.
Yeah, headed into his senior year. obviously is going to be a big role on the offensive side. Hopefully he can rebound from this injury here.
As you see Bear going off to the sideline last season again. Had the 6 games he appeared in, the 8 attempts, 24 total rushing yards. His longest 9 has had a long of 11 tonight. He'll have to go to the sideline as the last of the Fratman crew members go off. 2:05 is on the clock. Rolling out to the right this time.
Looks like it's going to be a pass.
Yes, it is for Serfone to a wide open receiver. It's complete. Caught at the 25-yard line.
Luke Kadalesic out there to make the catch on a big play. Trickery for the Golden Tornadoes.
And it looks like the Fratmen were not expecting to pass after what was double-digit rushes in a row in their first pass since drive number 1. And now, that gives them great field position with under 2 minutes to play in the quarter. Timeout called, this time by Geneva College. That'll be the first of the 2 available timeouts for each side being used here. And a chance for both teams to try and discuss what they can adjust for this game plan here with such a back and forth show so far. Want to become a member of the season tickets for the Windsor Spitfires? Then be sure to purchase your season ticket membership now and get access to member benefits, prices, and special events to become a part of the Win Within Army. Visit spitspass.com for the best season ticket prices. The deadline is May the 18th. Again, timeout called on the field, 1:51 to go with a 1st and 10 of the 25-yard line. Strong game so far for Geneva College.
It doesn't look like the timeout was actually granted to Geneva.
Wow.
Not sure what happened there. Coach Morenzi was talking to his defense, but Geneva never went to the sideline and no timeout came off the board.
So it looks like the 2 timeouts are sticking on the board. Thank you for the clarification there, as they'll move forward by a couple yards. The run up the middle leads to a 2nd and 6. To clarify, the timeout did in fact come off the board. So it is 1 timeout remaining. It has just been updated across the stadium here at Alumni Field. So it is 1 timeout remaining for Geneva College, as thought. Up the middle. Fake this time to the right center for a gain of a few. Lloyd keeping it that time of the fake. It looked like they faked it to Lawfrey.
Looks like number 6 for the Fratmen's down after the attempted tackle.
And that's going to be a painful one. That would be Roya Lako, a new member of this Fratman team. We talked a little bit about him before, had been from the area, played for the Lancers, went out west to play football, and came back here to the community to play for the Fratmen. It was seen to be one of the potential impact players, especially at defensive end, because of his ability to rush and utilize some speed to get to the quarterback and the runners.
Yeah, Coach was talking about how athletic he thought he could be on the defensive side of the ball for you guys this season.
And going to be helped up now to the sideline. Going to stop play with 1:33 to go with 1st and 10. And a round of applause from the sideline now from the fans and the bench as well. So both teams taking the time as well to have some substitutions. Coming in for him, Matt O'Neill will enter the huddle. As you see Coach LaChance trying to have a little bit of fun, one with some of his coaching staff members, as well as Daniel Mayu, who's just to the right of that discussion. Currently watching along as the defense has to have a stand inside the 15.
Clock's running again here after the injury timeout.
The red zone offense looks to move forward to the end zone. Lofrey touchdown once again. And he continues to be the man that puts the points on the board for Geneva College. Another TD.
Just escaped a couple tackles there, but still a big hole on the offensive line there to get him right in the end zone. Big score before the half.
And if I have my count right, that's his 3rd touchdown in the first half already. Would be one of his strongest performances, at least statistically, if you think about it, as a member of the Golden Tornadoes in the spring game. Extra point goes up, lands its way to the workers' benches. But either way, 27-8 the score with going through the uprights. A minute 20 left in this first half. What do you expect from the Fratmen in terms of what you've seen from this game so far, already being down nearly 20 points?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to make a lot of good adjustments on the defensive side, but Geneva keeps switching it up on them, going inside and then going outside. So we'll be interested to see how they come out defensively in the second half. But offensively, they just a couple key mistakes that kept them off the board in the first half, but still a decent performance offensively, I think, by the Fratmen.
Both teams setting up for the kickoff now with a minute 20 on the clock. Again, 27-8 is your score here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Andrew Fee for tonight's action. Glad to have you again, Andrew, the Director of Athletic Operations for Geneva College, here this evening in Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was asked late. Well, we weren't able to bring our professionals up here, and you got stuck with me.
Don't think like that. You definitely know what you're talking about. Of course, you also have some coaching experience at the school as well, on top of being the Director of Athletic Operations and also being a color commentator tonight. Off and away goes the kickoff, meanwhile. Picked up at around the 15 as that will be blown dead once more. Of course, was doing a bit of research before coming on. Mentioned a little bit of your experience being part of the women's golf coaching staff and the associate head coach and sophomore team. Is that correct?
Yeah, softball associate head coach. Our women's golf program is new. Our first season will be next year. So that is correct, but we have never played a match yet to this point, so that'll be a new sport this fall for Geneva.
How hard is it to manage so many hats at the same time?
It's interesting at times. There's busy times of the year, and there's fun times of the year like this, but we managed to do it with a small staff, small school. Everyone supports each other, so it's a great thing.
Staying at quarterback is Colton Allen as he'll slow back down the AKL Fratman offense. He'll have a minute and 13 to work with. Handed off this time in the rush. Nash Pryor. And brought down for a gain of a couple, maybe two. And the defense ready for that rush as that gets the clock an extra couple seconds burned off.
And we'll see what the Fratmen do. They do have 2 timeouts, but a big field ahead of them here, so they may just head into the half down 19.
As you've seen the play signal for the clock to start rolling, as you see in the backdrop of that, if you see the official end up going for that wheel circle at the blow of the whistle, the clock is to start rolling, the official signal to start time in Canadian football. 2nd and 8, 51 seconds to go. Allen to the sideline, throws it to a player not on the field for an incompletion. The intended target was Daniel Squalls. Instead, Michael Ryan, gets the catch.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't agree with the route. They were talking after the play there. Might have got stuck in the turf as well.
And you see it right to Ryan. Overthrown, unfortunately, that time by about 4 or 5 yards. Stops the clock, though, at 45.5 seconds, 3rd and 8. Allen picks up the low snap, throws it to the right side, Lewis. Trying to juke his way towards the chains. Can't get to him. Gain of about 3. And that will set up 4th down. One of the main positives, though, I have to say, with American football's rule set, you have an extra down to work with. Canadian football, just 3 downs in total. So really 2 downs to get a 1st down, which leads to a lot of the back and forth you see in some games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most teams would not go for it on 4th down, of course, unless it's short yardage or they're on their side of the field. But yeah, definitely an interesting adjustment when you come across the border.
30 seconds to go on the clock and rolling down as the punt unit comes on. Returners are set up, 3 of them, in fact, at about the 35-yard line. We'll have to see how the Golden Tornadoes handle what could be the last possession of the quarter. They'll pick it up at the 35 even and start their drive from there. 12 seconds is left on the clock. And we'll see if they elect to just let the clock wind down or if they elect to run a couple more plays before the end of this first half.
You would assume that Geneva is happy with a 19-point lead and will just sit on the ball here, but never know.
course, both teams with the different preparations, of course, the different rule sets on both sides of the ball. Coach LeChant saying a lot of this is about evaluation, as well as Coach Mike Morency, as you've mentioned many times, talked a bit with PowerPlay video about how this was about evaluating players and the issues for 2019 and who to bring in. They said they could potentially bring as much as 5 or 6 players to fill some of their needs, depending on how this matchup is before the start of the season at the end of the summer.
Yeah, very similar with us, of course, being in spring ball as well. Looking ahead towards the fall, the regular season, seeing what we have, the adjustments we need to make.
And the ball is kneeled down and cues halftime. Geneva College's Golden Tornadoes are up by a big score of 27-8 over the Windsor AKO FRATMEN. As we'll take a quick break, you're watching We Digital Productions from beautiful Windsor, Ontario, between the PAC and the OFC.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Take one empty field, round up a group of players, add 3 bases, plus 1 home plate, throw in a softball, and add an umpire. Play ball! It's not hard to get a game of softball going, and to keep it going from the time you're 4 till you're 84. Softball. Get in the game.
Welcome back to Alumni Field. We kick into our halftime report. Geneva College in town to visit the AKO FRATMEN. We're going to call it the Can-Am Bowl, if you will. Of course, Geneva College from the Pennsylvania area. And, of course, they come out of the President's Athletic Conference. Coach Gino DeMarco, he's been around there for, 26 years now as a head coach, 33 years coaching, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
All right, a couple of weeks, yeah. Talk to me about this game, Coach DeMarco, and what's it mean for your club?
Well, for us, we've got a whole different change. We just graduated our all-time leading rusher in school history, so we got to try to establish that. We're playing with a new quarterback, and we got a bunch of kids that are just new. I'm sure it's the same thing, for Windsor. But the thing that I'm really concerned about is our secondary, and I'm scared to death about this second half. I just hope we can come out and play. I really do. I'm a little worried about it.
Again, do you treat this as a regular game, or is it just a matter of working out some things? You mentioned new quarterback, new running back, just on things. Is it almost like an experimental game for you?
Well, in some situations it is. Like we've got kids playing some positions that it is experimental. We want to see how they're going to respond. In a situation as far as timing, it's you got to treat it as a game because in our offense, timing's everything. But yeah, and I think if you ask the coaches on this side, this is a great thing to have. I mean, they get 2 weeks of practice. We were in pads for nine padded practices. Gives us an opportunity to come out and see what our guys can do. When the lights come on.
And you bring me right to my next question, Coach DeMarco. Getting the pads on early, and of course, NCAA rules don't allow it. But when you play, they call this an international game. So it's a nice relationship that's building here. You were here 3 years ago, played in the game at Windsor Stadium then,
yes.
A different stadium. So obviously the experience was good, and then you decided to come back.
A tremendous experience. I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about the hospitality here. Can't say enough about the Windsor FRATMEN. Let's face it, as far as junior football in Canada, I mean, they're one of the premier programs in the nation. And the fact that we only have to come about 3/4 of a mile from that Ambassador Bridge and make it international, I kind of like that.
Yeah, well, you know the area well. You call it the Ambassador Bridge and everything. Tell me about your thoughts about, you came in yesterday, had a practice. Did you get to see a little bit of the city and experience what we have here?
Not really. No, what I did last night is I went to bed. I got 9 hours of sleep. So, but anywhere we go in this city and we talk to people, it's just a friendly atmosphere. And yeah, this is going to be hopefully every 3 years we'll be able to do this.
Yeah, well, we'd love to have you back. That's
well,
for
I'm
sure.
going to tell you something. I'm telling you, I'm really concerned. They have some tremendous wide receivers and quarterbacks that can throw the ball. So hopefully we're going to have to, shut them down.
I guess with your school, the history that's there, Coach DeMarco, you've had a nice run there, obviously. The stability that you've created for the program at Geneva. But when you come to a place like this and you see some different players, does it maybe open a door a little bit? Do you ever think maybe there's a couple players here that we can consider?
There's no doubt, without question, and we'd love to be able to get a few of these kids. I've talked with, Mike about that, and but there's so many opportunities here in Canada. I mean, in the university system. I mean, I don't think Americans really understand the network or the different levels of ball that are here for kids that are coming out of high school. I'm very impressed. I mean, this conference and this league's been around, since the 1800s. And there, I guarantee you, if you ask 10 Americans and who think they know football would never ever understand that. It surprised me. But I just love coming up because I want to see they have really got, Windsor's got some tremendous athletes, and I want our kids to see that. That's why I like coming up here.
Well, you're making me feel really good here, Coach, because I love this area, and I always brag about our sports in the Windsor-Essex County area. But I'm sure, I know in the hometown there, you had a guy by the name of Joe Namath that
Yes.
came out of your town. There's some pretty good football in Pennsylvania.
Well, Joe Namath, actually, in high school football, when he was at Beaver Falls, they play on our field on Friday night. And if you come to our place, because 19 was the number he wanted, because Johnny Unitas was the guy that he emulated, there's a 19 and a BF orange right on our field for Joe Namath. But the other side of it, being a Steeler fan, it wasn't too far ago that a guy by the name Jerome Bettis came up here, won a Super Bowl, and I think half of Beaver County stayed in Windsor that night.
Yeah, well, we love having him here. Coach, I'll let you get in the room.
Great
Good
talking.
luck the
Thank
rest of
you,
the way.
Bob. All right.
Coach Gino DeMarco of the Geneva College team. What a great guy, and boy, this guy really works at it. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll check in with the FRATMEN. Head coach Mike Lachance will join us. We'll get his thoughts on this special exhibition game. You're watching the Can-Am Bowl on We Digital Programming.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor-Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect. I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back to Alumni Field. We continue our coverage of, I'm going to call it the Can-Am Junior Football Can-Am Bowl. Of course, it's the Windsor AKO FRATMEN hosting Geneva College. Second time these two teams have met in this very special exhibition game. Head coach Mike Lachance of the FRATMEN joins us. Thanks for this, Coach Lachance. And do you get excited for this game? It's a pretty neat event to be a part of.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun to not only play against another team, but a team from the U.S. that plays good football. I mean, they're a Division III NCAA team. Quality program, great coaching staff, so it's an interesting game all the time.
It's a short preparation, though, for you and your staff. 10 days, 12 days maybe, and you throw a team together, and hopefully you can compete a little bit.
Yeah, we had 7 padded practices and a walkthrough, and it shows at times, especially offensively. I mean, defensively, it's tough to play against a triple option. We'll never play against that this year. But offensively, I thought we moved the ball well. We just made a lot of mistakes, and that's to be expected in the preseason.
Talk to me about your guys and their thoughts about participating in a game like this, even through the practices and leading up to it. What were they talking about, and what were you? I mean, you and Coach Brentz have been doing this now for 4 years. So, what do you tell them to expect?
Well, they love it. I mean, they love playing against an American school, and they love playing against the team either way in the preseason. When you practice, you want to get rewarded by playing a game, and this is what it's all about. Win, lose, or draw. Preseason's about learning, about seeing who's going to compete and who's going to be able to contribute for you when the regular season rolls around.
Coach DeMarco compared it to maybe like an experimental type game where he's experimenting a lot of things. Same thing for you, I would imagine, Coach?
Yeah, and it's not a real indication of what we do. I mean, we get them on a lot of motion. If I had most of our playbook in, I've got maybe 20 plays in right now out of a 200 play playbook. If we had a lot of our motion plays in, they'd have a hard time. You see when we go in motion, we break guys free in the secondary. We just don't have a lot of it in because we're so young. Plus, they don't give us a yard. So true Canadian football, you're getting that yard at the line of scrimmage, and for most people it doesn't sound like much, but your offensive blocking schemes are all geared towards that. So it's really a kind of a bastardized system, and we're trying, we're competing, and that's what I'm really looking for.
Yeah, I mean, the score is the score, but does it really matter when it's all said and done? I mean, I guess you and the staff are just looking to see who does compete and who maybe can jump up and grab a starting spot.
Well, yeah, I told the team last night, this is the first time and the only time this year you'll hear me say that it doesn't matter if we win or lose, because every game matters if you win or lose. In this one, it's more about competing and just seeing who could play. Although Colton Allen would probably disagree that I don't care about winning and losing when I tear a strip off him when he doesn't throw the right ball. But, yeah, you hit it right on the head, though. It's about competing, seeing what rookies actually have what it takes to help us out during the regular year, and seeing what veterans came back bigger, better, strong, faster, stronger.
Speaking of coming back this year, Coach LaChance, young team last year, competed really well, developed nicely through the season, made it to the final, came up short there, but a nice nucleus returning for you. It looks like the offense is going to be pretty dynamic. Where do you see this team going this year?
Well, you know what? It depends on a couple things. I've got a couple months now to really recruit. We're short offensive linemen. We're short a couple big D tackles, so we need big people. We're always recruiting. So that's going to be a big key for us, because it's hard to win in football when you don't win on the front. So the front lines are going to win football games when it's all said and done, particularly the championship football games. But you're right, we're dynamic in the secondary linebacker. We've got some real great athletes at receiver. We've got some backs who could show their wares if we block for them, but we've got to improve that offensive line play.
How far away before camp officially starts?
We'll start late July, mid to late July, and then our first game is first Saturday of August. So
yeah, we're plugging the games already. Good stuff, Coach. Great to see you at the football field, and good luck the second half, and we'll talk down the road.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Head coach Mike LaChance of the AKO FRATMEN, working hard as always. When we come back, it's the kickoff second half, the Can-Am Bowl, right here on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berg, drive, the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Joseph stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, pocket, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
one empty field. Round up a group of players, add 3 bases, plus 1 home plate, throw in a softball, and add an umpire. Play ball! It's not hard to get a game of softball going, and to keep it going from the time you're 4 till you're 84. Softball. Get in the game.
Welcome back, everyone, to beautiful Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of exhibition football between the PAC and the OFC. Geneva College's Golden Tornadoes have been dominant so far with the ground attack with the triple option, leading 27-8 over the Windsor AKO Fratmen. Justin Prince alongside Andrew Fee. And so far, it's been an offense dominated again so far by Geneva College, coming in from the States and, of course, putting on an offensive clinic with their 29 rushing plays already. 243 total yards on the ground.
Yeah, talking to Coach DeMarco quickly and listening to his interview with Dom, he's worried about Windsor's passing attack, but happy with our rushing attack so far. Net passing yards for Windsor, 178 already. But as we talked about, Justin Loffrey, 2 touchdowns. Failed to mention in the first half, he's actually dating Coach DeMarco's daughter, Grace.
Oh.
So maybe that's why he's getting some major playing time today.
Let's not go towards that route. Let's go towards this route. That shows the statistics. 14 first downs. They have been able to get a lot of those first downs. The passing yards is talked about 178 compared to just 40 for Geneva. However, one of them was on that big-time fake. 243 total on the ground so far for Geneva to get 283 total yards on offense. So far, though, the Fratmen, they have not gone on the ground much, if at all, so far. 0 yards on the ground in total so far on 4 rushes.
Yeah, 4 first downs for the Fratmen versus 14 for Geneva. You know, that time of possession, I don't know that we have that here, but it's definitely being dominated by Geneva with the 14 first downs. That's a big help.
Amongst the top players in that first half, you had Luke Lloyd that got 86 yards, 81 for Loffrey, 46 for Ethan Baer before he had to come out for some time. Longest rush, 44 march might make that for Loffrey so far in this one. As they'll be the AKO Fratmen returning to start off the second half. Again, returns will be blown dead at the 15-yard line so far for the Fratmen, but the 25 so far for Geneva College. As we're back underway in beautiful Windsor, Ontario, and they'll start off from the left side of the field at the 15. Again, the Fratmen so far have focused on the passing game. Daniel Mayhew has been the better of 2 quarterbacks so far. 4 of 8 for 120 yards. Longest pass, 39. Colton Allen, when he's been in the game, 1 interception, 5 of 10 for 58 yards. So a difference in plays with Mayhew going more deep and Allen going for more of the dips and dukes kind of passing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Windsor responds here in the second half as, trying to adjust in this spring season. I'm sure they made some good adjustments at the half offensively and probably going to try to keep throwing the ball down the field, I would imagine.
They'll throw down the field on 1st and 10 to about the 43. And a huge hit down after the whistle. Be marked down either way for a gain of about 9 on the completion from Jared Hayes-Williams. And take a look at the tackle to make it 3 different players coming to try and knock him on down. With the forward progress, it is marked down to the 39, however.
A 2nd and 1 here at the 44-yard line.
That's actually the first recorded catch of the day for Hayes-Williams. Make it 2nd when you think about that extra attempt completion. Allen passing to McCraney. Doesn't get to the chains, it appears. We'll see where they spot the ball, however. And yes, indeed, it will stay 3rd and 1. You see another short bubble screen. Colton Allen once again finding McCraney on that. See how they elect to go on 3rd and 1. Looking for just the 5th first down of the night so far. And they're going to bring in one of the bigger bodies in Nathaniel Ganish. Coming up to the line of scrimmage, 2 players to the right side of the field, 2 to the left side. Ganish will step back towards the backfield. Come in for the block. To the ground they go. Nash Pryor. Did he get it? It was right at the chains where he was tackled. And we'll see where they spot it.
It's going to be close. The head linesman here came in.
And that is a first down, yeah. And you see right there on the tackle and where he's placed just across the line by half a yard. So a good spot on the ball that time on the rush from Nash Pryor. Again, the second half has a different set of officials. John Dotson moves to referee, Alex Jemmy to the umpire spot. There is also a different back judge lined up with Brent Webster. Les Solvik will line up with Luke Norman to round out the officials on the field.
Justin, is that normal for officials to change at the half? Or?
Fairly, yes, but remember, it is spring camp, as the incompletion is nearly picked off, in fact, going that time to McCraney. But of course, for some of the officials, this is their kind of spring camp. Some of their spring training to get used to being back in the game before the summertime. That time, it was nearly intercepted, the pass, though, by Dakota Allen. And that could have been the second interception already in this game for Allen. 2nd and 10, 3 minutes into the second half here on We Digital. Fratman looking to eat into a 19-point deficit. 3 receivers in the motion. Allen looking right side, incomplete. Lewis dropping it that time. And it'll be 3rd and 10.
Definitely short passes to start off the second half here, not throwing it downfield. Interesting halftime adjustment there.
That was something we've seen at times in the first half in terms of the play calling, a lot of bubble screens. And it looks like I think they're just trying to get Colton Allen at least into a rhythm when he's on the field, when they go for the quarterback rotation. 3rd and 10. Ball still placed at the 45-yard line. 3-4 defense set up now for the Golden Tornadoes. 2 receivers set up to the outside marks. Allen looking left side, complete. Just at the first down markers. And that's going to be placed just maybe across center field for the first down.
Good vision by the quarterback. He took a big hit at the end of the play. Got up slow, but good pass. Get the first down.
Yeah, now our first down, this time by another half of yard. So just getting to the right places on 3rd down. 2 first downs to start the offense in the second half so far. Approaching 5 minutes into the 3rd. Fratman slowly but surely coming down the field.
Both quarterbacks for the Fratmen were completing 50% of their passes in the first half, so definitely probably a good rhythm change in the second half here so far.
Allen throwing deep. This time it's picked off. That time picked off by Ryan Signorella. He's going still to about the 35, making the 40, brought down to the 35. And another big-time interception. The second of the day now for the Golden Tornadoes.
Geneva sideline pretty excited after that pick and a return.
And let's take a look at the replay. Signorella on the coverage and just got right in front of the intended target of McCraney.
Yeah, came across the field there. He saw the pass being floated up there and just took advantage of that. A nice little return, too.
And it helps when you are able to read the covers that time like he was already a couple different times, in fact. We've seen the corners down deep in the safeties be able to just read it like a library book and pick it off. 1st and 10 at the 38 is where they mark it. This time kept by the quarterback. Serfone able to get through the defense to the end zone, touchdown. And this game is wide open.
Servone under center there to start out the second half and just took it right off to the right there and wide open hole right into the end zone.
And that time he faked it too with Ethan Bear. And it looked like the Fratmen had the overcommit to the fullback. And this time the quarterback finds his way to the end zone for the TD.
Like you spoke of before the game, Windsor Fratmen aren't traditionally playing against a triple option offense. So definitely an adjustment that they're struggling to make here, in the first half and early on in the second half.
Extra point attempt is up, and it's good. Make it now a big-time score of 34-8. Just about 5 minutes into the third quarter. You can see the elation on that sideline right now. They are just purely dominating once more here in Windsor.
Yeah, Geneva's just excited, obviously, about the lead, but to be excited to be playing football in May on a nice day.
And happy to be on camera, too.
Yeah. Not used to that.
Yes, you can see them pointing towards the camera and saying, "Look, Mom, I'm on TV a little bit." And being like, this is the big time, potentially. 34-8, again, your score. But, of course, we've talked a lot about the program. One thing that is to be discussed, we mentioned, of course, DeMarco and his coaching background. One thing we haven't mentioned is about how many former players for this team have gone on to actually become coaches, whether it is in the high school level or the college level. 135 in total were archived heading into today's matchup on Geneva College's website. A big fraternity of former players going on to become coaches.
Yeah, it's a testament of Coach DeMarco's ability to lead and build desire in his players to continue helping the youth, mostly at the high school level, some at the college level, play football. A lot of them are local, so it helps with recruiting as well.
Ball blown dead once again on the return to about the 15. They'll mark it, in fact, actually we'll see where they mark it at before I say anything. To 35 is where they're going to put the chains this time, it appears. But so far, the Fratmen, they've been ice cold offensively. They had a couple first downs before that interception. They're looking to wake up the offense this time as they finish the last of their group substitutions with Mayu back behind center.
Not a lot of teams rotating quarterbacks as much as the Fratmen. I'm sure they're trying to figure out who their quarterback's going to be for the upcoming season, but it's tough to get into a rhythm, as we talked about, changing quarterbacks.
And intercepted a third time. The first for Mayu, and it's a pick six. Dakota Allen says, hello, touchdown.
Just seemed like a misread, threw it right at him, and a pretty easy pick for Dakota there.
Yeah, you see right again. Able to read it like a library book. Got two different blocks up the field. And Dakota Allen with the pick six makes it 40-8. The third interception by the Geneva College defense today. And the players in the gold and black continue to celebrate and dominate. As talked about in the first half, 12 interceptions from last season this team had in terms of on their defense. Already a quarter of that total in just the span of over 30 minutes, 35 rather, so far. Extra point attempt now being set up now. And it is good, 41-8.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the offense for Geneva, but definitely need to touch on the defense. They've been playing pretty well, especially in the second half here. Historically, Coach DeMarco has had a good defense as well as a good offense, going back to when his cousin, Coach Pinchotti, coached the defense, and then recently Coach Faltrop, and we're searching right now on the staff for a defensive coordinator. So Coach Payne doing a lot of defensive responsibility today. He's doing a nice job.
Yeah, this has been a very tough defense to crack, especially for the passing game for the Fratmen. And part, of course, there's the defensive experience from Coach DeMarco. Was, of course, the defensive players we talked about a little bit, the school's first All-American in the NAIA at the time. Former baseball player, but also, in terms of coaching, the offensive line grad assistant at Georgia Tech in 1985. 1986 to 87, the defensive secondary and defensive line coach before coming back here in the early 1990s.
Yeah, Coach DeMarco was a volunteer coach on the staff for Geneva before taking the head coaching job. Did some time down at WVU, West Virginia University as well. We ran into a kinesiology professor from Windsor who was a West Virginia University grad today.
That's yeah, that's really good to see some of the communication. Sometimes the connections you can see in a city such as this in Windsor, Ontario. 9:21 to go with the FRATMEN offense coming back to the field. Mayu will stay under center after an interception and pick 6. Last season just had 2 in total in the regular season. Already has his first of 2019 as he'll set up at about the 35 once more. 2 receivers in the motion, passing over top the defenders and over top Lewis, his intended target. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Lewis pretty open there, floated it a little past him. Not sure if he thought there was more coverage than there actually was there.
And that time, he'll set up the 2nd and 10 once more. Of course, the FRATMEN preparing, as in part, for their schedule to start off towards late August, early September for 2019 to try and have a chance to go back to the OFC Finals once more after their loss to Hamilton in last year's OFC Finals at Tim Hortons Field.
Looked like we had an offsides penalty on the offense that time, something we're not used to seeing in the U.S. football game, but it was declined.
Look like keeping the loss of down instead is the elected decision. Mayu electing to go to an open receiver but throwing to the dirt, incomplete. Make it 3rd and 10. And the offense is starting to really sputter down here for the FRATMEN.
Yeah, Michael Ryan there, wide receiver number 80, was pretty frustrated after that pass. I'm not sure if it was tipped or just bad pass into the ground. But frustration offensively showing to start with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter here.
3rd and 10 now with 8:14 to go and counting in the 3rd. Just one running back into the game. 5 wide receivers on the field. Mayu looking for the side flat, gets it. Can McCraney get the first? It will be close. He was tackled right at the chains.
McCraney put his pads down and went towards the first down marker there. We'll see where the spot.
And you see the flat on your screen, and we'll see, did he get it? Yes, indeed, the officials did indeed see that. He gets the first down by just a 1/10 of a yard, as you've seen on your replay.
Yeah, replay confirmed that was a good spot and a good first down.
So the offense is starting to slowly get its feet back together, especially against this tough defense. 3-4 set once again for Geneva College on 1st and 10. Mayu looking right side, nearly intercepted. That time McCraney met in the coverage. That time it was Maurice Washington who broke it up.
Yeah, Washington has had a pretty good day so far. A couple big tackles, as we talked about earlier, and he read that one pretty well.
And just met him right at the exact spot, or really at the right place at the right time, really, to get that broken up. 2nd and 10, 7:20. The Golden Tornadoes having just 2 players make it 3 out in coverage at the corner spots and the safeties. 1 linebacker comes to blitz. Mayu feeling the pressure. Rolls. Might have threw it right at the line of scrimmage. It's picked off regardless. For the second time, it's intercepted.
It looks like we also have a flag down. I think he was just past the line of scrimmage when he let go of the ball.
Yes, he was. And that was Brady Corcoran. You're going to see right here. Look at the chains at the top of the screen. And you see the throw. He is about a 1/2 yard across that line of scrimmage. It'll be intercepted regardless by Brady Corcoran. and another pass into traffic, the 4th team interception of the day. And I think we've seen today, you hit on it a lot, the defensive ability of this team. To try and have it a very strong team from year in, year out. Now, what do you think is being thought down there at the sideline, especially by Coach DeMarco, seeing how strong it's been so far?
Yeah, I think he's happy with the performance. Obviously, like I spoke about pregame, we face a lot of spread teams. So I'm sure he's going to be happy with what he's seeing. But obviously, nothing's set in stone. Positions are going to be fluctuating as a new freshman class comes in. But a good game for May, that's for sure.
To the option they go, to the sideline they run. Brought down at the 47-yard line that time was D.D. Kalaxti. And his second big carry of the day so far. And you're going to see on the replay, just got the perfect blocks to get some space. At the right times, and was able to just outspeed 2 different linebackers just about.
Yeah, just turned on the after-turbers there and ran upfield. We didn't see much of them in the first half, so definitely good to see him. But we got a penalty. We're going back.
We're going back the other direction, as you see on your screen, and that will mitigate the big-time gain. The move the chains to the 32-yard line for the first down instead. For the play, rather. Either way, they'll reset the clock and reset their offense after the big play. The box completely stacked, just one player out in coverage, expecting the triple option. This time, hand it off. This time, the defense is ready. To the backfield that time. Goes the FRATMEN for the tackle.
Luke Lloyd under center that time. Not much yards there to gain.
Valhora amongst the rush that time into the backfield for the loss. And that will now set up 2nd and 11. A 1-yard loss. Just approaching 2/3 into this third quarter now here on We Digital Productions. As they wave play back into action with 5:35 on the clock. This time, up the middle. This time, it's faked. One defender tackled the fake player immediately, while another ran for a gain of about 3 or 4. Looked like that time it might have been Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd got a few yards after that fake, but still going to set up a 3rd and 6 for the GTs.
The Golden Tornadoes looking to try and not stall on this one. They've been dominant in a majority of their possessions so far. They'll option it to the right side. Some space down to the sideline. It's good for the first down.
We got a flag down on the bottom side of your screen.
And we're going to have to see where the flag comes from and see if this is going to mitigate the play. And let's see which direction it goes. And they're going to wave it off. They're going to keep the first down, wave off the flag, and going to bring it down to the 47-yard line of the good rush. That time option to an open Frank Centofanti. FRATMEN looking for something to wake up on defense. Fake handoff, scrambling around in the pocket, Lloyd. Brought down for a loss.
Looked like Lloyd was looking to hand the ball off to someone who wasn't there. I don't know if that was miscommunication or...
Yeah, it looked like he was
stuck.
Looking, hello defense for the tackle for loss. That was Lako, who's back onto the field and able to get to the tackle for loss. They'll mark it as a loss of 1 for 2nd and 11. Once again, now set up at the 46-yard line. Option this time. No, it's a pass. Throwing deep. Wide open coverage. It's complete. The Golden Tornadoes score once more. It's a touchdown. Peyton Shield wide open by a country mile in coverage.
Yeah, just like us, the Fratmen weren't expecting to see that. Long pass downfield leads to a score as this third quarter slowly winds away.
Heading into the second half, just 1 for 4 was Serfone on passing 40 yards though. As talked about the big play, this time has his second big completion. This time, however, for a touchdown of more than 55 yards. 58 to be precise.
D.D. Calixte was down to start that possession. Probably confused the Fratmen a little bit. They don't see people starting at a down position in the backfield very often, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen that, even with some American football where there's a player immediately down at the start of the snap. 48 to 8 with the extra point now. 30-point advantage. From your perspective as a member of the athletic program, director of athletic, let me rephrase. To be a part of a director of athletic at the athletic operations, such as yourself, what do you think is going on for a team such as the Fratmen right now on their sideline, from the perspectives you've seen, whether it's from coaching or whether it's in the front offices for the college?
Well, I mean, coaches look calm, trying to make adjustments, realize the magnitude of the game isn't very high, but as we're dealing with competitors and athletes, obviously frustration is going to set in, and motivation is going to slowly slide away, especially on a hot winter night. So it'd be interesting to see if they can dial in here and try to get a couple more scores before the end of the game.
Ball's blown dead at the 15 once more, but did you just say a winter night or a Windsor night?
Windsor night.
Oh,
Windsor
yes,
night.
yes, pardon me. I was going to say, hey, it's looking much more warmer than you'd see in winter, of course, in the late spring. Either way, ball will be moved to the 35-yard line. They'll start on the right side hashes this time, the Fratmen, with 3:25 to go in this third quarter.
Yeah, we realized that yesterday when it was about 43 degrees during our walkthrough on Alumni Field with the wind blowing off the river over there. It was quite cold, so it was nice to wake up this morning to some sunshine.
The wind hasn't been much of a factor, surprisingly, tonight. Just a little bit of gust to the right side. That time, Jared Hayes-Williams can't keep it down the right sideline. Incomplete.
Paschal there with the coverage. Looked like he had enough room to come down in bounds. Just lost it on the way down and was pushed out afterwards.
And you'll see right there, it could have been a spectacular play, but instead broken up by the good coverage by Pascal. Under 3 minutes to go now in this third quarter. Fratmen now set up again with 40 in the motion. Allen, the quarterback. Allen finding Ryan, complete. Check that on that. That is Jacob McClellan making the catch in front of Ryan for a gain of a couple.
And Austin Gockel on the tackle there. Again, read it pretty well and met him right after the catch to minimize the gain.
And we've seen some of the main starters coming in today really playing some big roles, especially with a lot of young players that are a part of this squad. Who's really impressed you the most from your side's defense?
Oh, everyone has been impressive. I mean, the interceptions in the second half here have obviously stuck out. But, you know, equally, everyone's been pretty impressive tonight.
Lewis with the completion, finding his way to center field for the first down. And that time, the flat wide open for Dante Lewis, and again, shows his speed. And that time, just able to outrush what appeared to be Tyler Can in coverage.
Yeah, Tyler Can just got beat a little bit there. As we talked about, Tyler Can's going to be a big part of the defense as we head towards the fall for sure.
First and 10 marked at exactly center field this time. Allen trying to sort out the offense from the line of scrimmage. Setting up back, able to find Hayes Williams for the completion across the 50. Gain of about 6. And it looks like one player might be down, and it's one of the linebackers. That may be, yes indeed, Kendrick Wells that is down on the field. Again, Kendrick Wells being checked out now by the training staff.
Yeah, Kendrick Wells came in and made that tackle and was shaken up afterwards.
And unfortunate to see once again a couple different injuries. This time, let's see the replay. And he was the one on the tackle.
Looks like he may have just landed on his foot, took the wind out of him.
Of course, he played all 10 games as a sophomore last year with 20 tackles, 3 sacks, and a part of the fall academic honor roll for the PAC. And he'll head off towards his sideline under his own power as both teams discuss things after the injury timeout. 1:11 to go in the third quarter. Approaching 16 minutes total left in regulation. And what has been a 30-point gauntlet of rushing plays on the triple option so far for Geneva College. The FRATMEN with 4 interceptions while passing today.
That injury reminds us to thank our athletic training staff at Geneva, who usually have a much quieter spring. But with football practicing in full pads and playing this game, they've been a big help and obviously made the trip to make sure everyone stays safe and healthy.
The irony kind of in terms of that is, when you look at the website, they ask, why did I choose Geneva College? He said he chose it because of the great medical school placement on top of the football program. For the Golden Tornadoes, he'll watch along as the incomplete pass is thrown.
Yeah, he's a biology major, and as he quoted there, we've historically had some great placement into some pretty prestigious United States medical schools.
Your program is also up towards one of the better engineering schools, in fact, in the country. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, was top 3 in terms of value in some of the national rankings just about past year or so.
Yeah, correct, in the Northeast region. But engineering is the top major on the football program, and a lot of the reason why a lot of these players are picking Geneva because the accredited engineering degree, which is really unique at a small Division III school that's a Christian college as well that has football.
And so far has been showing some great football skills so far with under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Setting up again Allen. First and 10 marked on the field. Allen nearly runs into his running back, throws it to Lewis. Nearly got a one-handed grab, it's incomplete. And that will stop the clock with about 6 or 7 seconds left.
Yeah, the pump fake by Allen got it off just in enough time afterwards, was hit pretty hard after the throw and just a little long.
Clock goes back. This will be potentially the last play of the quarter.
You see there on the Geneva helmets, Rev sticker, that's Coach DeMarco's father. Reverend DeMarco passed away this past August as the team prepared for fall camp suddenly.
And that's great to bring up, actually. See if we can get a view of that on our cameras. Meanwhile, it's complete for a first down across the 15 to Ryan. With that, that'll end off the third quarter. 48-8 is your score with 15 minutes to play. We'll be back right after these messages here on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, we now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario. The FRATMEN get ready to set things up with 15 minutes to go in regulation. Justin Prince alongside Andrew Fee here in this fourth quarter of exhibition football between the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes in the Windsor AKL FRATMEN. It's been a domination station so far for the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes. They'll watch along as the AKL FRATMEN offense tries to get into the end zone for the first time since the first quarter. Right now communicating with the sideline is Colton Allen, and they're going to call a timeout. Use their first one, actually the entire game, but their first of the half as well. But here's those stickers we were talking about. For the father of Coach DeMarco, you see it on the back right side of the helmet.
Yeah, really a special tribute. Coach DeMarco appreciated that greatly, as his father was a huge inspiration, obviously, in his life. And a lot of people in the Beaver County area.
Of course, very inspirational for sure to be with the community as well. There's been a lot of big-time players, not just in the community, but the school itself. We were just discussing a bit about Cal Hubbard, who had graduated from the school in 1927. He's the only athlete to actually be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, and the College Football Hall of Fame. Why? He played professional football in the late 1920s and the early 1930s, was an MLB umpire actually, and helped establish the foundation for some of the officiating standards and the strict rules for it in the 1950s, and of course was actually one of the main leads for officiating or directors of officiating to the late 1960s.
Yeah, all those facts, definitely true. A member of our first Hall of Fame class at Geneva. We've inducted 3 classes, and he was obviously a choice for our first class, but still stands the only guy that's in Canton and Cooperstown.
Pass incomplete that time to McClellan. It'll be second down. And stops the clock for the time being with 14:39 to go. But of course, that's very difficult. I actually had to double check that actually with how significant it was. Is really when he was a football player still in the NFL, he kind of took up the officiating as a bit of a officiating umpire and as a hobby a little bit in the minor leagues before finishing his pro career and actually being the umpire for some World Series back then.
Yeah, and then moved, as you said, to a director position later on in his career, but played for the Packers and the Giants, New York Giants, in his NFL career. Worked full-time at the steel mill located by the college, and then came up and played football.
And a great sack that time for the Golden Tornadoes. 3, make it 4 different players in the backfield. Able to knock down Allen for the big loss. And that time a full-out blitz. There was actually 5 there in the zone.
Yeah, as we talked about, a big play puts them in the 3rd and 20 situation here, looking to score for the first time since the first quarter, and definitely not moving the way Colton Allen wants them to.
Yeah, it's been a rough second half for Allen, to say the least. For the sacks, I should mention, though, in 2018, 16 total sacks for the Golden Tornadoes. The FRATMEN finished off the year, the regular season, however, with 14. They'll try and convert a 3rd and 20. Pump faking Allen. Takes it himself. Trying to juke and dive. But brought down just out about the line of scrimmage. In fact, maybe lost a yard for a sack. Should correct myself. Able to get to nearly the original line of scrimmage for a gain of about 9.
Correct. It looks like the 17-yard line is where they're going to mark the ball.
And that was a lot of traffic to try and navigate. And now, they'll try and navigate what will be a longer field. Whistle called, timeout this time. That's the second timeout called in the fourth quarter alone. It appears it will be the Fratmen that want to discuss things here. Down by 30. Of course, Fratmen football returns for the regular season on Saturday, August the 17th for OFC action against the GTA Grizzlies. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in on WeDigital.ca on We Digital Productions. Colton Allen discussing things, the sophomore quarterback under Coach LeJohns, and trying to make sure they find a way to score. 4th and 10 is the official ruling on the field, and what could be one of the last drives, I should say, on offense of the day for the Fratmen. Still ways to go, though, here in this one with under 13 minutes to play. And the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes full of smiles here in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because of the game or the pizza that Coach Morenzi promised them after the game on our bus ride home.
Believe it or not, Windsor's actually known a bit for their pizza, especially for some of the local eateries here.
Yeah, we'd like to personally thank Avante Restaurante, who fed us while we were in town in Windsor this week, or this past day. They catered our meals where we stayed at St. Clair College.
Setting up 4th and 12 as they clarified on the field. Allen looking for a score. Instead hits the upright. Well, there's a bright side and a dark side. That's the dark side if you're on offense, is that extra defender that is called the uprights.
Yeah, exactly what I mentioned before. Acts as a defender, something we have definitely never seen before.
Usually, though, it doesn't hit the top of the upright, such as that. You see Dante Lewis was expecting the play. Instead, it bounces dead at the 5 or 10 yard line. And now the Golden Tornadoes will set up at the 17. Once you finish up this spring camp, what is next as a program for the Golden Tornadoes?
The players are done with school as of last Friday was the last day of finals, or Thursday. So they'll head home. Coaches will start to prepare the schedule for camp and the playbook for camp for when the players return in mid-August. Coaches will take some time off in July and hopefully come back refreshed.
And that time, gained a couple that time on the fake to Calaxty. That time it looked like the Fratmen were ready on that play up the middle. Coming back out now, in fact, will be what appears to be Serfone to be able to try and switch who's going to be a quarterback here for this play. 2nd and 7 is the ruling on the field. Again, the Fratmen, for many snaps so far, have stacked the box.
As you see, DD's down again in the backfield. What we talked about last time, there's a big pass play.
And this time, it's a loss of yards. The Fratmen were ready for it. Keeping it that time was Caleb Duckett, a quarterback for the squad.
Caleb's been the scout team quarterback for the past couple of years, trying to make his way into the starting role. As we've seen, rotation today, I would expect that during camp as well.
And with a score like this, it's a chance as well to get a lot of the snaps after Serfone has had a really good game, really. Some good run plays, some strong passing when they've been able to catch the Fratmen off guard. 3rd and 8 at the 19-yard line. Under center. Duckett gets the defense a jump. Flag on the field. They'll try and throw it into coverage. It's incomplete. But we have a flag at the line of scrimmage on the snap.
We have to assume it's offsides. But we've assumed that on a play previously this game, and we're wrong.
It's never good to assume, and right now we'll have to see what they do again. There were 2 different players that rushed up. This time it is offsides. So 1 for 2 in terms of pre-penalty predictions. This time it will move the line of scrimmage up a little bit more. If they elect to keep the move. Yes, indeed. They're going to mark it to 3rd and 3. They accept the penalty. So 5 less yards to try and deal with on this snap here, as Duckett will set up under center. Kalexti starting up in a bit of a fullback formation in the back drop. Fake to Kalexti. Rush up the middle, Duckett. Able to get a gain of a few. Might be short of the first down chains, however, maybe by a yard. And yes, indeed, they're going to place it about the 26-yard line to make it 4th and 1. 10 minutes to go in regulation here in Windsor, Ontario.
Looks like Coach DeMarco called on the punt team, which I would expect pinned back inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, especially with a big league like this. It's one of the first punts I think we've actually seen from them today overall. As a team last season, Geneva College attempted 46 punts for 1,529 yards. They averaged 30.2 yards a punt. This might not reach that. Up to the sky and bouncing at about the 47, make the 50. So a short field for the FRATMEN after what looked to be maybe more of pop-up than a line drive kind of punt.
Yeah, not a good punt there. Gives the FRATMEN good field position as we wind under 10 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
Of course, Green Giants baseball is around the corner and is looking to be back and be stronger than ever. So will we. For Reed Digital Productions, the opening game of the 2019 campaign at home is on Tuesday, June the 4th, 2019. Action starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time against the Galleon Graders in the Great Lakes Summer Baseball Collegiate League. 9:13 to go in this 4th quarter. I know you hinted a little bit before we started off that you were more of a baseball guy, actually.
Yeah, softball.
Yeah.
Softball coach, so baseball as well. In the U.S., it's football and baseball are the major sports. Basketball, obviously, close second, but baseball has been called America's game for a long time. So we all appreciate baseball.
Referring to basketball, I've seen something referring to in 1893 being really the birthplace of college basketball. Tell us a little bit about that, if that is indeed correct.
Yeah, Geneva College is the birthplace of college basketball. New Brighton YMCA and Geneva College played the first game in our old field house. So, yeah, that's true. Vanderbilt would claim that's incorrect, as they believe they played the first collegiate game with 2 college teams.
A little bit of a debate.
Dr. Naismith's book, it claims that Geneva College is the birthplace.
And of course, Dr. Naismith is the birth man of basketball, you can say. Actually from Canada, I believe I'm correct on that. 2nd and 10 either way, incomplete pass from Mayu. Back to the action, of course, on the field. There's 8:43 to go in this game. And at this point, the FRATMEN looking to try and find their way into the end zone still for the first time in more than 2+ quarters. They got close last drive until on 4th down, their pass attempt to Lewis hit the uprights. That big, about 15, 20-foot defenseman that is sitting at the goal line. Mayu. He's sacked in the backfield. Flags down, though, on the sack attempt. Eli Myers was the one who brought him down.
And looks like we got a preliminary call of a face mask on that sack.
Let's see if we see it on the replay. Yep, right there in the bottom part of the face mask. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty, mind you, on the face mask, and give the FRATMEN much better field position now. That'll put them inside the 35.
Something Coach DeMarco definitely has talked to is both his offense and defense about going forward into this fall, limiting the penalties and turnovers.
Indeed. In a lot of games, penalties can kill you as a team. The Fratmen looking to find the end zone still as Hayes Williams gets it on the slant. Mark it down as completion of 7. 2nd and 3 coming up.
Good strong hands there to hang on to the ball as he was getting hammered underneath.
Do have a player down. It's Ryan on the near sideline. And he's going to come off the field now. That's why there's the stoppage of play here. 2nd 3 is marked at the 28. Should correct myself, that was an in route, not a slant. I looked at first as slant, but he did take that quick cut to the inside, as that's marked as an in route rather than the slant that goes slanted towards the inside. 6:35 to go in this 4th quarter as the sun starts to set at Alumni Field in Windsor, Ontario. Justin Prince alongside Andrew Fee here on We Digital Productions. Geneva College still up 48-8. 3 receivers on the left side of the field. Corners switching spots for Geneva. Mayu going to the flat once more. McCraney trying to find the corner. Brought down at about the 19 instead. That will get the first down though.
McCraney with a couple big runs after the catch today to get a couple big first downs to keep the Fratmen moving. He had 142 yards in the first half, so he's adding on to that in the second half.
He's been one of the main positives so far today, I think, for the Fratmen. And 44 yards his longest catch in total statistically. 1 touchdown as well in the stat sheet for Windsor.
Pretty physical player. He puts his pads down and runs guys over. Definitely like to see that.
So he's one of the main wide receiver threats for the Fratmen. To the end zone, though. That might be another interception. Ryan Signorella might have his 2nd interception of the day. Yes, indeed, that's what they mark. And the defense is putting on a staple show today.
You see Coach Payne jump up there as he's pretty excited as well. Pretty good coverage, pretty good play to come down with that ball.
Hayes Williams, the intended coverage man. Intended receiver, rather, but either way, another strong interception. Market is down about 5 or 6 already in the game with 5:17 to go. And now just a few more minutes to try and burn off this clock as it starts to roll for Geneva College. I think there's a lot to celebrate from them, or a lot to be happy about after what was a successful spring game here.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to take that 4.5-hour late night drive home after a pretty good game. But a lot of things to still work on for Geneva, as we saw today, but definitely played pretty well and got some guys in some different positions, which is the point of the game. I mean, the Fratmen are doing the same thing. They have some solid variables on the team, just got to put them all together for the start of the season.
Rush for about 3 yards on the field for 2nd and 7 now, but what do you see as some of those improvements that have to be done heading into the summer months?
I mean, consistency is the big thing. I mean, obviously it's been good and bad, so we'd like to see all good. Defensively, I mean, we're giving up some big passes. We've bailed ourselves out with a few interceptions, but still giving up a lot of passing yards, something we have to limit in President's Athletic Conference play.
On the option up the middle comes Surfone again. And another good rush now for the quarterback. First down approaching the 40. And again, caught off guard by the triple option. And a huge hit too, look at that. The hit stick boom on Tavian Salidas. Salidas was knocked down like he was standing still like a scarecrow. Again, that was Surfone on the rush. Back under center after seeing a few snaps coming from Duckett. This time, rush up the middle. No, it's a fake. Serfone keeps it to the left side, able to get to about the 48-yard line. Add on another extra 8 yards on the ground for the quarterback, this time with the fake.
Yeah, good run there as we approach the 3-minute Canadian warning there.
And we have exactly reached that about now. 3 minutes and rolling down on the clock. Still waiting for the signal for said 3-minute warning as the last of the substitutions come on into the matchup. They'll set up either way at the 48 as the clock ticks on down. Setting up bunched up tight. Near formation for the triple. This time, kept up the middle again. Serfone able to get the first down and then some to center field.
Yeah, that doesn't look like Servone to me. I can't tell who it is. You see Servone over there on the sideline, who's also wearing number 5.
We're going to double check that. In fact, right now, as you see heading towards the sidelines, man, you see the 17 on the helmet. There are 2 different 17s that were a part of last year's roster. One was a senior. Hunter Kinsey was a freshman DB that wore 17 last year. There are no marked down 17s coming into today, but either way, you see the rush here. Serfone.
We see him there over on the sideline towards the center line. He had a good game, but wish we could give this young man credit for what he's doing, but we're not sure who it is.
This time an out rush up the middle for a couple of yards. This time kept on the rush by Claxty. Claxty. Approaching a minute to go in the 4th in a dominant game, 48-8 the score.
Justin, on behalf of everyone at Geneva College, we'd like to thank everyone at WeTV for this excellent broadcast. Thanks for allowing me to come on, even if I'm not a professional like yourself. But we thank the University of Windsor for allowing us to play on Alumni Field and their hospitality. And, of course, the Windsor FRATMEN coach and Mike Morenzi, who set this up. We always appreciate this, and we hope we'll be back again in 3 years. But it's turned into a great tradition, and we're thankful for all of you.
And thank you again for your program, for coming to Windsor-Essex County. Heck of a performance by your team and a heck of a school as well on the short rush of one that time. But that should just about do it as well. A strong performance for the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes as the clock ticks on down. For the second time in its program's history since coming down since 2016, they'll come away with a victory. 48-8 is your final score, and with one last knee, they'll get to celebrate. The Geneva College Golden Tornadoes win 48-8 the final to win their second Canadian game in 4 years.
Justin, a good performance by Geneva, obviously, but again, as I stated before, I think the Windsor FRATMEN are going to have a good year again. They have the tools. They just got to figure out how to put them all together. Both quarterbacks showed some positive things, got some athletes that can catch the ball, and we're excited to see what the FRATMEN do this season as we follow them closely in Beaver Falls.
And thank you very much once again for being a part of today's broadcast. Real quickly, what are your final thoughts real quick before we say goodbye tonight?
Yeah, as I stated, I mean, a good solid game by Geneva. We just have to figure out who these key players are going to be moving forward and try to minimize the passing yards that we give up defensively. I think offensively, obviously, when you score 48 points, that's exciting and good with the triple option. But in giving up 8 is a good thing. But we gave up way too many passing yards. Just got bailed out with some key mistakes.
For the second time in this series' history, the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes score more than 40-plus points, just one less in their time in 2016. But it's time to say goodbye here from Alumni Field in beautiful Windsor, Ontario. For Andrew Fee and the rest of our crew, I'm Justin Prince, saying so long for the Rose City, and we'll see you next time here on We Digital Productions.